So we just went through and looked at how we can determine a pattern from a sequence of numbers. So now let's look at a table. So for each of these examples, we're going to determine the pattern type, then list the next three terms, and then state the rule. Same thing that we just did. So if we look at this chart, we need to figure out whether it's linear or exponential. So let's look at example 1 here. Now, unfortunately, I have already found some typos in the worksheets, and this is one of them. So I'm going to mark this out, and we're going to do this problem from scratch. So if we take this chart, we're going to treat the taxi fare information just like it was a sequence of numbers like we did in the previous example. So in order to do that, I'm going to do next minus previous. So next minus previous, and we are going to have 2.75 minus 0.45, and then we would have 5.05 minus 2.75, and then we would have 7.35 minus 5.05, so on and so forth. So when we subtract, this part is the part that's done for you. We can ignore this. This is what your subtraction would come up with. So as you see, each time you subtract, you're going to get 2.3. So that means that this is linear. And so our rule is that we are going to add 2.3 each time. This is our rule. And then when you do this, if you're going to find the next three numbers in the sequence, you'll need to do 11.95 plus 2.3, which is 14.25. Then we would do 14.25 plus 2.3, and we would get 16.55. And then we would do 16.55 plus 2.3, and we would get 18.85. So that's how we got these numbers over here. And then lastly, we're going to start talking about how do you write this equation. And so you're always going to start with this form, and it's going to be y equals some number we're going to call m, then your x, plus some number b. Now, if you remember slope, this is going to look familiar, but we'll connect the ideas in a second. So when you do this, this is the first number you start with. So I'm going to circle this. This is your very first number. And then this is your rule. All right. And so now we know what our first number is, and we know our rule, and we know that our rule is our m, and our first number is our b, and we leave our x and our y the same. And that's how we get y equals 2.3x plus 0.45. And therefore, this is a linear system or a linear equation, or it's a linear set of numbers. So take a second and look at this. I know there's some typos in it, and I apologize for that. All right, so this is the next one, and we're actually going to work this one out fully together, and I've got a list of questions here. And then once you get down to the practice area, you'll see these are the same questions that'll be asked each time. So these are the steps that you can go through and think about. All right, so I wanted to determine if this was linear, so I started with my next minus previous formula, and when I did that, just the first two numbers told me that this is not linear. It cannot be linear since these two are not the same number. So now I need to determine if it's exponential. To check if it's exponential, so I'm doing division. I get 1.15, and here I get 1.15. So here you can see that all of my numbers are the same, and I didn't even do all the calculations. So this means this is an exponential data set, and you'll use the next over previous. And then our rule here is what we got over here, this 1.15, so we're going to multiply by 1.15, and our next three numbers are going to be 1,295.31, 1,498.61, and 1,713.05. So now how do we write the equation? We write our y equals, our m is our first number that we're dealing with, so we're going to use 560. And this time, because it's exponential, it's going to look a little bit different. So then we're going to multiply by our rule, which was 1.15, and we're going to raise it to the x. And so this is what the exponential form will look like. So it'll look something like y equals your m times your rule raised to some x power. All right, so that's it. The next video will cover the practice problems. Thanks for watching.